very happy to see various organizations here today. I must say thank you to the persons within our ministry who wanted to commit themselves to be part of this conference, especially to the school managers from the public schools who are officially on vacation, however saw it necessary to be present here because of how important they know such a conference can be to the position that they currently hold. When I look at leadership, I think on a couple of things: effective planning, a clear vision, new ideas and new strategies, crisis management, and of utmost importance, employee relations. These are some factors in which I focus on daily in my past position, current position, and I will continue to do so in my next position. Today I want you, as you leave this conference, to feel inspired and motivated for whatever skills that you gather from this conference, that it can only positively contribute to all of your organizations into the success of St. Martin on a whole. Thank you for being here. Thank you again, Victorious Living, for this conference. This is a tool that each and every one of us, no matter what function we're in, can benefit from. I wish you an enjoyable day, and I hope that after this, that we can have side conversations on what we took from today's events. Thank you very much.
Argument being used by the government for them seeking dissolution of parliament is, in our opinion, is null and void. Because to use the argument of stability for the reasons to seek to dissolve parliament, how would we get stability with elections in the next couple of weeks? It will not work. Nothing absolutely prevents a similar occurrence a week after the new government takes office. Nothing prevents the same occurrence to happen. And you can't say, yes, well, depending on the people who you elect, because persons are elected always on the basis of them, let me make it including everybody, of we saying we are going to do good. We are going to do our best. It's in the interest of St. Martin. Where we are today as a country, I believe that we need to make even some more rigid rules for ourselves, because clearly in the environment that we're in, with different opportunities of persons going left, right, persons, members of parliament being able to go left, to go right, and that not being really against the law, we need to establish the context so that, you know, we can act maturely, all of us together. So having stated that, so the argument from the government, that doesn't hold water. We are seeking dissolution of parliament so that we can have elections, so that we can have a new parliament, because we want stability. Elections and thus a new parliament in the current situation does not guarantee any more stability than what we have today. So so we share those concerns, as I mentioned. We believe that there should be fundamental changes, and as I mentioned before, elections will only see possibly a shuffling of the cast of characters in parliament, but without the changes to the electoral laws. And I will be sharing with you a press statement to this effect, going some more into it. But what I do want to stress is that in the event, mind you, we are committed to having this new coalition work, and will do all that we can to have it work. We believe that the matter of electoral reform, which is high on our agenda of the Democratic Party, and I can say of all of the other members supporting the new coalition, but that really now has to be basically priority 1 or 2 for sure. It really has to go a notch up in terms of priority. And in the event that an election is to take place, in the event, we would have a proposal for that, because Firstly, we do not believe that dissolution and elections should take place on the current decision that is there of the government. Let me state that. So that current decree that is at the government, as the governor, sorry. Secondly, we believe that we would recommend rather that a majority in Parliament chooses a capable Council of Ministers, that an election date of at least 1 year from the appointment of the new Council of Ministers be chosen, that the mandate to the Parliament be that electoral reform must be completed within that year, and that the reforms are incorporated into the next election process, and that you have some type of a supervision by impartial inspectors, as we call them, to monitor the next election and make sure that the overall integrity is maintained.
Anybody bingo?
Nobody bingo.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas real easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
Vitamalt takes care of you. And now, check under the marked caps for a chance to win prizes. More detail on press.
LBC.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Basketball once again.
LBC.
Check it out.
Yeah.
LBC.
It's okay. Get right back up.
That's right. Bring your friends and your family.
I am not going to argue whether they were in their rights, that prior to submitting their resignation, they switch off the lights on Parliament on their way out. They're saying we did not submit our resignation yet, so the motion, their decision to dissolve Parliament, is a legally taken one and should stand. It brings us to where we were in 2013. There was no motion of no confidence against the Council of Ministers. There was a letter stating that we no longer have support. A majority in the Council of Ministers took a decision to dissolve Parliament, and it's water under the bridge for me. I'm not going to dig it up to start a fight, to start an argument, but I'm saying if they feel that their decision is a right one, but you cannot tie it to the condition that we will only resign if the governor agrees to sign this decree that we have sent, this national decree that we have sent. One has nothing to do with the other. And then my question to the minister was, suppose when the minister came, because don't forget, when the leader of the USP, Member of Parliament Franz Richardson, was not in agreement, just like the rest of Parliament, with the protocol the minister signed on the 22nd of May or the 23rd of May this year, when the majority of Parliament clearly voiced their discontent. And MP Franz Richardson said that he was about to ask the minister to resign. The minister stated on the floor of Parliament, no one member appointed me, but anytime the majority in Parliament tell me they no longer have confidence in me, he said Dennis Richardson would be the first to hand in his resignation and go home. I'm calling again on the Honorable Dennis Richardson, former Lieutenant Governor of St. Martin, former member of the Council of State, the highest advisory body, to uphold the Constitution. We cannot condemn young men and women who commit crime in St. Martin, who burglarize stores, who hold up people, who break into stores, who break into hotels and casinos. We cannot condemn them, criticize them, while honorable people in the community are hijacking democracy and are saying, I am not going to resign unless the governor agree that he will send it up for annulment. The impression might be created that this group or the National Alliance is afraid of an election. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But it's not about an election. It's about the democratic process in the Parliament of St. Martin. Because I asked the minister also, I said, when you came with your piece, with protocol, and we called you to Parliament, if a motion was tabled against you then, would you have resigned? He said, absolutely yes. When we called the Minister of Education here with issues surrounding NEPA and education, if Parliament had said, we are not in agreement with the way the Minister of Education is handling the NEPA and other education-related matters, and gave her a vote of no confidence, what would she say? The Constitution doesn't say when I'm supposed to resign, so I'll resign maybe in 2018. When we called the Prime Minister here to talk about developments at GBE and question him about that notorious memorandum of understanding that was signed, and had we tabled a motion then, would the Prime Minister say, I am not going anywhere because the Constitution doesn't say I got to resign 1 hour after, 2 hours after, 3 hours after? And we can go down the line. We have tabled a motion of no confidence against the government, and yet you read, government is in South America, another minister is organizing some trip that is going to cost the taxpayers $30,000 on the mission they're going on. Other ministers are doing this or that. I'm sure they're signing off things left, right, and center. And I'm telling Dennis Richardson, more than any one of the ministers, you know better. You were in functions where you know the importance of upholding the Constitution. And if they are allowed to get away with this kind of behavior, then I'm saying, if we hold an election, whoever then becomes minister, and I would love for it to then be William Allen, and a vote of no confidence comes, and William Allen says, I ain't going nowhere because the Constitution didn't tell me I got to do it an hour after or 2 hours after, so I feel like doing it 4 years from now. And then what? And then what? So I am saying, the same way they have criticized Holland when Holland imposed on our governor that he should adhere to their decision to step up the screening and to follow their screening method, and it was said, Holland, you shouldn't do that. The same Dennis Richardson was one who was saying, why is Holland putting our governor in such an awkward position?
We have annually 1 or 2 meetings. This meeting, we looked at the development and achievements of Ombudsman over the past membership year. We looked at projects that need priority. For example, I was very instrumental last year to bring to the Caribbean anti-corruption training. And if one recall, in May we had that anti-corruption training in Curacao, where I invited Parliament, the Council at Advice, and the ministries to join me. I got special permission for that. At that time, 2 parliamentarians joined me, and somebody from the Ministry of Justice, and also people from the Council at Advice. So for this year, we agreed that the subsidies for training and projects will continue. I recently became the president of the Caribbean Ombudsman Association, and in preparation to strengthen the work of ombudsman, we are gonna request a training for the Caribbean Ombudsman on case handling. And as such, that is something that I have achieved as well for the Caribbean, for St. Martin. Hopefully, I will have it organized here on the island, and it is all subsidized by this international organization. Those are very important achievements for us. We also established during the meeting that our next meeting and world conference will be held in Thailand next year. Apart from the official meeting, one of the very important things I'm always saying, being part of an international organization, is the free expertise that I am getting from my colleagues. We are new, but so many countries have ombudsmen for many years, and I chip in their expertise and experience. This year, something very good that happened is when I shared about the fact that I took the National Ordinance on Integrity to the Constitutional Court just before I left for the meeting, I could instantly get feedback from my colleagues. Because my colleague from Belgium, has in her portfolio investigations of integrity breaches. And by discussing my concerns with her, she could immediately show me where I am very correct on the concerns that I have, because she, as a matter of fact, advised her government recently on certain amendments that have to be made to the law in Belgium. My colleague of Sweden also have that mandate in her portfolio, but she has the authority to prosecute. Again, it falls exactly in the concerns that I presented to the Constitutional Court, because our national ordinance that was ratified by government is talking about an integrity chamber that has the right to investigate integrity breaches. However, if something becomes criminal, that they have to report it to the public prosecution.
We're still in the second week. We have so many more events to go, so just let me give you a lineup of what is still to come after this weekend. You've got to definitely paint it pink at Koiman. That's on the 17th of October, and we're asking ladies to register at www.koimanbv.com. Make sure to register. It's very easy. You just go to that website and you look for the events and you click on it, and there you will see the Painted Pink event. You can register at what time you want to make your own toolbox, and of course for registering you'll get a free Makita t-shirt, and I'm so happy that Makita has offered 200 free t-shirts for the women that will be building their toolbox. But don't feel that you're left out because you're not building a toolbox. There's lots going on. There's a pink lounge, as Valeska announced. They'll be there so you can get your skin analyzed, and of course ask them of all their wonderful skincare line like Neutrogena. There'll be a makeup corner. Of course, Pena has been generous to come out and help us out with that. There'll be a pink lounge where ladies ladies can lounge and learn how to mix their own pink cocktails. Yes. And there'll be also a station where you can revamp your junk. What that means is that you can bring an old picture frame, an old pot, something that's small. You can hold it by hand and you can paint it pink. You can purchase hard hats, paint it pink, put a special message. I mean, there's lots to do. So make sure to come on out October 17th. It's gonna be a big event because we're gonna make Koiman, well, actually we're gonna paint Koiman totally pink. And after the 17th, I believe the 17th, then is the 23rd, a workshop at the Phillipsburg Jubilee Library dealing with coping with the radiation and chemotherapy, of course, dealing with what really happens when you're diagnosed with breast cancer. That's very important for you to know as well. After that, there on the 29th, there's the movie night. You don't want to miss the movie night because there is where 400 women get the opportunity to come on out and have a great time and, you know, just let your hair down and be girly and all excited. We've got lots of wonderful sponsors. Of course, the two favorite questions are what color is the t-shirt and what is the movie? I like to keep the element of surprise until the event. So I'm not saying when you get your t-shirt, I want you to think a little further. It's kind of bold and out of the box, but I think you'll get my idea of, you know, what we're doing here this whole month for breast cancer awareness. And then on the 30th, there's the Pandora launch. The 31st, the St. Martin Medical Center has an open house that will, of course, open the doors to many women in our community to come out and get that chance to get screened. So ladies and gentlemen, throughout the month, free clinical breast exams at the different doctors' offices. And I would just like to thank all the doctors, the nurses, the volunteers, family members, sponsors, the whole community for really coming out and making these events successful. It's about us. So if one person is affected, we're all affected. So what you gotta do? Get checked.
Anybody bingo? Nobody bingo.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
In my opinion, everything is perfect and you would be great for the job. But I see here that there's a 2-year gap in your resume. What did you do?
I was hospitalized for mental illness.
Oh, mental illness?
I've undergone treatment and I have a wonderful family that supports me.
Well, that is good news.
No, it's fine. I'm recovered.
We'll contact you, okay?
For a better understanding of mental health and what you can do to stop mental health stigma, please go to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas real easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
We're here now today with LBC's members. We have Denicio Duzon and Shaira Bowers here. We're talking about what's going to be happening this Sunday. Mr. Denicio, can you give us a little rundown of what to expect this Sunday on your opening, basically?
Yes, of course. Well, before I even go into it, my name is Denicio Duzon, Vice President of the Walichi Basketball Championship. We're here to talk about LBC, Ladies Basketball Championship, and we're having our opening. Our second annual season is actually starting this Sunday at 3:30 till 7. It's going to be epic because our last season was epic, so we could only expect greater things. We have some new things implementing this season. We have a U13, under U13 team that will be playing every other week. So they'll be playing from 2 till 7, and then every week we have the usual team from 3 till 7. So what is going on? We're having an opening ceremony. We'll have games be played. We'd like everyone to come out and support because we're going to take it out big this year again.
So what exactly can we expect at the opening ceremony? Can you give me a little rundown on what goes on mostly in the opening ceremony? Shiara, can you give me that info?
Yes, so the opening ceremony will start 3:30. There will be some performances, some rappers, singers, and some dancers, and as well as an exhibition game with the senior teams and possibly the under 13 team, and some speeches as well. So that's gonna be from 3:30 to 7. It's gonna be a fun-packed day. Bring out the family and enjoy.
So tell us a little about LBC. Is this your first year that you're going into this? What inspired this whole movement?
Well, it's not our first year. This is actually our second year running, but actually hosting a season. What we are striving for is the development of women's sports on the island, specifically basketball, but we're not confined only to basketball. We're empowerment of women, period.